what is the thing that is broken in Palantir? It is their sales. I mean, you have a fucking amazing product. Okay, you need to be aggressive at times. I think at times they are aggressive, and at the top when Sham and um, Alex Karp is presenting. Okay, but that steam has to run through the organization. Okay, I mean you need to be ultra aggressive. I mean I would love to have them a sales team that Amazon has. I think Amazon is a good example. Okay, they can sell you more than they have.
So
That's their.
when Karp says we have no pricing strategy, our plan is to take the whole market, you believe him when he says that, even if they haven't shown the execution historically, you believe theoretically that is the bull case, to
the
take the whole market.
the opportunity, I believe. The ability to execute, I have concerns.
Right.
Okay, see, look back. I mean, go back a year and a half. Um, and this is why I said any investment you do, you need to see through the consistency of management, what they are saying and what they are doing. Okay. Shyam said that Foundry is going to be the AWS for enterprise and developers. I mean, like what AWS was there. See, when AWS came, okay, within 3-4 years, there were companies which were entirely built on AWS.
Yep.
Okay, I mean, Netflix today exists because of AWS. There's so many companies that are entirely built on AWS. So you want to make it a prime, like we say, and we keep tweeting about it. It's a software prime. See, software prime means there is a company whose enterprise and everything, business operations, everything is built on Foundry. And this company didn't exist before Foundry. It's not like there is a company like BP existed. Now BP is moving towards Foundry, and they are expanding their operations and what else they can do. No, these companies have to totally exist within Foundry. Okay, this is where like some of the SPACs, I mean, we were very excited, like Lilium and all that, because that's the whole idea, to build the companies on that. But to be fair, see, none of that company has grown this big that it's a Netflix for future.
Right.
Okay, so the execution is something. Okay, I like what Matt was saying and what Steve said earlier also. See, you need to make something which is even more consumable. The question for you, Amit, to ask is why Audia.io is not on Foundry.
Right.
Okay, so what is stopping you from doing that part?
Right, because we use AWS, so why not?
So the reason you use AWS is because the barriers to entry for AWS is even smaller. Tomorrow you go to Snowflake, your cost will even more, I mean, decrease with the user base you currently have at this particular time. Okay. Yeah. I mean, there is something I cannot show you, but I can share some of the content. Okay. I mean, in terms of point. So just hold on for a minute with me. So I was helping one of the companies in there.
There's a lot of things I wish I could share, Sachin. There's a lot of things I wish I could share.
So this is my own IP. So I mean, I can share. So you see, there are 12 things. Okay, you need to have it right if you wanna win the digital strategy game. The first thing is you need to have a fucking killer app that everybody wants. Like ChatGPT came, everybody wants to have it. If you don't have a killer app, okay, you already handicap in terms of your go-to-market strategy in digital. So in terms of AIP, or I mean Foundry, Gotham, we can say that they have a kind of a killer app. Okay, the demand is different, but yeah, I mean, we can say the killer app because it does thing. Because a killer app has to do two things. It has to either give you extreme simplicity or it has to solve extreme complexity. Okay, so they have something that solves. Then it comes that whatever they have, it is simple to implement, it is flexible, and it is scalable, which we believe the way they expedited so many use cases that exist. The third thing is time to value. That means client can get their return back plus some more in a very faster way. The product has to be very thin wedge modular product. That means I want to pay $1.5 on usage a day. I get 2 more modules. Now I'm paying $1.76. I mean, it's entirely up to users to mix and match. And I'll tell you, this is a pandemic in enterprise sales, because what is happening that people want to bundle products and bundle pricing, and now client is not giving visibility to everyone that what they are selling, and the people who are buying, they have their own cloud kits and everything. So this is a fucking pandapping in enterprise sales, and everybody is struggling because of this. You need to have a thin wedge modular product. You need to have a product that has a very high portability and interoperability. That Palantir has. You need to have a lot of self-service capabilities, which Palantir don't have. If I want to go and use Palantir today, probably I cannot. If I go to Snowflake and I want to sign up for a free version, I can do it as of today. Then it comes to the deep domain expertise, the industry you are selling. Do you understand that industry? I think this is where they have increased their effort. The product has to have some sort of low code, no code, okay, which they have, okay, but it's behind a barrier. Though if you are on that site, I mean, only then you can use it. Okay, it has to have very low maintenance and less change management. That means people moving from one system to other, the cost is less, people can move it easily. You need to have a very integrated partner ecosystem and marketplace, which in my opinion Palantir doesn't have. I mean, they have some partnership here and there, but I wouldn't call it a plus system as of now. You need to have very deeper SI integration, which they have, but I don't know how much SIs are able to sell it, because the problem with the SI is they can sell something if it is smaller. If it is too big, I mean, even if it is good, they will not be able to sell it. And then the last, but the most important is, you need a very strong developer community support and engagement. I mean, you go to Stack Flow and all that. I mean, people are just writing about it and sharing things around it. I mean, if you go, I mean, AWS has huge community behind it. I mean, Google, one of the bigger problem they had is that despite everything, I mean, and Google came in cloud before AWS, and they are one of the best cloud, I'll tell you, but their go-to-market is fucking terrible. They managed to turn profitable just now. I mean, they just don't know how to sell. Okay, and Palantir at this time when it comes for selling, I mean, they are worse than Google. Okay, back to you.
So I want to chime in. So I think one of the things I want to get right off the bat, and I don't disagree with a lot what you're saying, but I think it's one of those things that it's a very unconventional company, and so with that, I think it's going to take a lot of a different pathway to really get to where we think we want to go. The thing that I think you said that bothers me a little bit, and of course, I always value your opinion, Sachin. The thing that bothers me a little bit is you saying that they need to learn how to partner a little bit better. I think Palantir is one of the best partners that you can have in the organization. And in fact, I saw something the other day where they said Palantir has 4,000 employees. And it's like, Palantir doesn't have 4,000 employees. Palantir has just 4,000 employees that literally integrate themselves within your business. And then those employees in your business also are the ones helping write the applications and helping create new programs and systems. And so I think one of the things that bothers me the most is like people just assume sorry, go ahead. Yeah, be curious.
Sorry. I mean, I always jump in between. That's my bad habit. When I say Palantir is bad at partnership, I'm not saying Palantir is a bad partner. I'm saying they are bad at expanding the partner ecosystem and marketplace as a lot of other companies are.
Okay.
So, I mean, they are a good partner. I mean, I have interacted with them. I mean, I really love the people I interact. If you get to know them, it's a whole different story. The problem is how to get to know them. And that's where the movie flops a lot of time.
No, and I agree fully with that. They have a very extreme culture, and that culture.
If Amit wants to be a partner with Palantir today, he will struggle. But if Amit wants to partner with Snowflake,
I'm sure.
Yeah, so that's the thing when I say that they are not good at partnership. They are not bad partners. They are probably one of the best partners available because they will dig down with you to help you solve problem, and they are helping you solve very complex problems. So they really have to get in bed with you. The problem is how to get in bed with you, and that's where it sucks at times.
So that's part of the reason why I think it's also a very, very long-term gain. And one of the things I'm also trying to think of, there's two things I want to bring up is the revenue growth piece. I agree with you. 17% is very disappointing. One of the things that I want to see is who has Foundry, who's using Gotham at the moment that got that equipment for free and is using it because it's for the greater good of the world. And obviously I anticipate that a lot of the folks that were using it for the vaccine rollout, Ukraine, they're either getting at an extreme discount their usage, and that's more so for avoiding the long sales and the integration piece of what has to happen in order to get Palantir involved in a lot of these companies. And at what point do those sort of free drips that they're using kind of come off of freemium, I guess you could say, and actually start generating true revenue? Or is it a backdoor into things like, hey, we're getting our foot into the door of these massive waves of the future, which is NATO, helping in Taiwan if that ever becomes a problem, getting yourself embedded into each one of the Western facing sort of governments that will kind of grow massively. And that's where the true revenue gains are going to be coming in the long term. That's what I'm kind of like trying to understand is where's that line? And that's something I don't know. And that's what I try to hope for, but hope is not a strategy, right? Hope isn't necessarily what's going to pay the bills. And then the other piece, and then I'll let you turn it back because I know I'm kind of like bringing a lot of points to the table that need good responses. Is at what point do you kind of say sales for this type of organization is very difficult? It's not like you're selling a snowflake where, like you said earlier, you're just getting a piece of software, you integrate that one piece of software or application, and you kind of just run with it. It's you're getting a sales team, forward development, not sales team. You're getting a forward development engineer team to sit in your organization to not just discuss how the application works, not to onboard your data and everything onto that operating system, but then creating applications that help solve the problems. What they would do is they wouldn't just say, "Hey, Amit, for Audea, here's Foundry, go." Right? They would sit with you. They would say, "What are the true problems you're experiencing?" And you would say, "Well, I'm having problems with reach. I'm having problems with organizing my data so that I can help focus advertising or whatever your future endeavors are with Audea." And they would literally sit and say, "Well, here's the data lake that you're tying or you're getting all your data from. Let's tie it into Foundry so you can have it organized in an appropriate manner. Here's the time series data you can visualize it with. And also, what else are you really trying to accomplish?" And they sit there and they say, "Well, how can we help?" Let's just say, for example, the thought process was concentration on advertising and demographics. How could create an application for Amit to be able to focus on that? And then second, how can we focus on outreach and be able to create an application custom for Amit and custom for Audea to reach that?
But I think
that's very difficult to do versus something like, here's an off-the-shelf Microsoft Excel, go.
Isn't Sachin's point that that's not necessary for a lot of businesses and they should still give? There should still be value in Foundry without.
That's the thing. I think that's what a lot of companies do think, and I think, and really to get the maximum efficiencies that they really want to see, the step change in which they want to see, companies need to become. And I don't disagree. I think most companies do think the way that Sachin is thinking, but I think the true step value change, the people that go to FoundryCon, like the BPs, the Tyson Foods, the CDC, that truly speak on behalf of the organization, that have seen what this type of operating system can do for your organization, that have humbled themselves and said, "We don't know. We need to bring in help and partner with Palantir to make us better." Those are the folks that will continue to sing the praise and never leave. Versus the other people, like Sachin said, they're going to be kind of cold shoulder until they admit, "Hey, we need to be humbled. We need to have the help." Until then, Palantir won't even look your way because you're still thinking in the old way.
So I think, so like you mentioned, I mean, that when they get in bed with you, they can really get deep with you. Okay. I mean, I completely agree on that. But see, so I'll give you an example. I think this is where, see, nowadays we see that there is a new kind of job emerging, ChatGPT prompt AI. Okay. This job didn't exist 6 months back. Why this job is there today? Because ChatGPT came, people realized that there is the way to exploit it, and some people are getting better at it. And who are these people who are applying for these people? These are hobbyists, amateurists, developer community who started using ChatGPT before everybody else. Okay, so when
or they're con men trying to hop on the train,
or the con. I mean, but the thing is, like, if your product is not accessible to a very large developer community, see, their product can do wonder, but somebody who can actually make use of it and somebody who can actually make very fast, because see, if you are selling to enterprise works at a certain pace. If you are selling to a startup, okay, startups are driven by the angel and venture money and their own and tons of things that goes along with it. The thing is, like, until and unless an individual developer can touch your product and he use the product and then the idea strikes, I like the product. Why don't I do something like this? That's the crux for most softwares. I mean, I remember like when I started using AWS, I didn't know, like what to do with it. Slowly I started realizing it. Okay. I mean, yesterday I was using Bard and I realized that Bard has a straight access to Colab. So why do I'm doing my programming support in Chat GPT? I mean, I can test the version of code and run it all here. So these are like the small things that clicks it. Okay. See, the first thing is your existing customers are the first targets of new offerings because nothing traction speaks louder than words. Okay, so you have customers, you may be struggling getting new customers, but spend more time with customers to solve more problems. That's one. Second thing is, see, there is no replacement of thin tiering in enterprise sales. If more people are involved in decision making, and this is where the current culture of Zoom meeting is even more problematic, because in Zoom you can get 100 people, so suddenly the decision criteria for enterprises has exploded. Okay, I mean, you really need something. And this is what I understand, and this is what my impression was when Alex Karp says that we will give our product to customers and we will figure it out how to monetize it later. That he wants to reduce that initial entry barrier issue, which everybody realize is a major problem. But these are also just opinion. I mean, Matt. I mean, I don't know whether it is right. Of course, I don't know a lot of things that is happening inside the company. Okay, the way I look at it is how different enterprise sales companies have expanded. I mean, you take the case of CRM. People were going and they were selling something, and everybody was okay. Then they were selling more on top of that, and now CRM is a behemoth. Okay, so sometimes what happens now, if you go to someone and you say that I can solve this for you, people also get intimidated. And I say, boss, what he's doing, he's taking over my business. People get actually threatened. In oil and gas, one of the biggest regret that major oil and gas companies like Shell, BP, and Exxon has is that they felt that they have given away too many services to companies like Schlumberger and Halliburton in the 80s, 90s. They should have kept it. I was helping one of the NOCs recently on the seismic processing part. And the thing is that the whole business is fucked up. There is no business model works for this industry. Okay, but the only way you can create value is bringing them back, but nobody is ready to do it. I mean, of course, there are a couple of companies trying, but the thing is, that is something they need to try. Okay, I cannot take it for, any excuse that if in 23-24 their revenues is still 25% and below,
That would
it's
be bad.
fucking waste of opportunity, in my opinion. Today, tomorrow, like for example, if I go and I happen to join Palantir and I will try and still it happens, okay, I mean, even if I know reason, I would say it is still even bad, because people and companies are selling more. There are customers who want more. There are actual problem that exists which you can solve. So why don't meet these points and make a pretty picture out of it? Okay, and I love the company. I have 100% stocks in it. So by no definition I can be qualified as beer.
But
Okay, I mean,
because of that,
yeah,
you can be super critical. I agree. And
yeah,
I appreciate
yeah, yeah.
listening to your criticality of it.